I'm Tom Cox. I'm a management consultant. Some of you know me. I've taught some classes here for Toastmasters before. My background is that I teach leadership in the business world. And I love working with Toastmasters because for you, it's all the same challenges in the business world, only harder. Because rather than having a carrot and a stick, there's no stick. So the challenge you have is to figure out, how do I get the traction that I need to get Fred to go on to Easy Speak and Mark whether or not he's going to come to the meeting. To get somebody to step out of their comfort zone and pick up the slack, because when one club member is slacking off, it falls on everybody else to do more. And the people who end up doing more all look to you in your leadership role and say, why are you letting this happen to me? Because you're in a leadership position. And therefore, whatever happens is in some ways your fault in the eyes of the followers. On your seat is a handout.
Lights?
And I'm going to leave the lights off for now, because I'm about to show you some slides that may illustrate this. You'll see it has my last name, Cox, in enormous letters in the upper right corner on those sides. This is how you know it's the one that I want you to look at. And on one side, there's a section for my goals for myself as a Toastmaster leader. And you look at this, some of you are looking at this and you're going, oh my God, I'm supposed to have goals. And for some of you, it's worse. I had goals once and it didn't go well. I'm not doing that again. And here's the challenge for you, is that if you have goals, you are at terrible, terrible risk of missing them and feeling bad. But two things happen when you don't set goals. Some of you know what one of them is. Nothing happens, right? You make great progress on your no goal. But something worse happens when you're a leadership figure in a club and you don't set a goal. And what is that? You're leading by example. And neither do they. And neither do they. So I want you to take 30 seconds and contemplate this terrifying little blank space. My goals for myself as a Toastmaster leader. And I want you to think of what you might put in there. You don't ever have to share it with anyone. Feel free to write in code. But write something. Challenge yourself. Push yourself out of your comfort zone just enough. But put down a little goal. Maybe it's to get Fred to mark his attendance. Oh my God, what a great goal. Anybody name Fred in the room? I always use that name. Usually it's in small groups. It's not you personally, it's just the word I use. This is the first name I use. By the way, I need a volunteer. I need an extrovert with exceptionally neat handwriting who also writes quickly. Any extroverts with good neat? Thank you, Linda Bard. Everyone, Linda Bard, congratulations. Stepping up. Now, what did I just do to Linda? I opened up a space and I said, would someone be willing to help me? And I described the kind of help I wanted. And I opened up a space for someone to step into it. Now, she was maybe a tiny bit uncomfortable, but she was willing to do it. God bless her. Linda Bard, by the way, a member of Toastmasters for Speaking Professionals and an extraordinary professional voice talent and one of the best storytellers I know. I'd like you to, if you are willing to, call out some of the words that you wrote down for your personal goals for yourself. And Linda's going to record just some of the words that you said. Not everybody, one or two. Whoever's especially moved to share what they said.
Motivate.
Motivate. Your goal to motivate yourself or others?
Both.
Both. Motivate yourself and others. Who else wrote something?
Make a flyer.
Go ahead.
Make a flyer.
To make a flyer. I love that. Yes, in the back.
Encourage membership.
Encourage membership.
Support current members.
To support the current members. Excellent. You get the idea. Now, some of you wrote down some goals that are specifically about growing yourself, not just accomplishing tasks as a leader, but to really push yourself and to use your leadership role to grow as a human being and to grow your own leadership capabilities. Anybody write something like that? Yes, sir?
Lead both of my clubs to be distinguished.
Lead both of your clubs to be distinguished. Ooh, that external goal setting and progress tracking called the Distinguished Club Program comes in very handy, doesn't it? Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Ask for help.
To ask for help. To ask, she wrote that down by the way. Our district governor wrote down a goal. That's called leadership. And I'm going to have Linda stay up there because I don't have a right to meeting in just a minute. But I'd like you to think about what you just saw on the video about trust. Now, if you're like me, you're thinking, I swear to God, the next time my Toastmasters Club comes under enemy fire from an ambush, I am going to drag the wounded Toastmasters to the helicopter. And I'm going to get the Congressional Medal of Honor. This is one of the challenges of leadership, is if there's a story like that, how do you make it relevant to your club members? It's one of the big tasks for leaders, is to connect the dots for other people. We've all been talking to a child, or maybe we've been the child in conversations. Well, if you study now, you'll get a good grade later. Or if you do your practice now, you'll score better in the game. And connecting the dots between behavior now and success in the future is one of the real tasks of leaders. So is showing how a story about Marines is relevant to a Toastmasters club. Now, this is the brain. It's where trust lives. And the way you're going to get your clubs to succeed, of course, is by asking for help and motivating your club members to step up and do a large part of the work that needs to be done. If you do it all for them, you're not helping them. You're making them dependent on you. In order to have trust, you need to be aware of two brain structures. The lizard self, the amygdala, is in the brain stem. Notice the extremely precise diagram. And the lizard self understands things like death and stop. It is the seat of anger, fear, avoidance, and the dark side of the force. Have any of you ever had a meeting where one or more of your members had their lizard self come out? Maybe it's been you. Maybe it's been one of, or you've watched it happen, or they're being a lizard toward you. By the way, you're a leader. That makes you a transference object. Anything that happens is now your fault. And in fact, they expect you to behave like their last boss because you're a leader, and they're just going to overgeneralize and treat you like their former boss. You'll get a lot of this directed at you when you're a leader, and if you come from this place as a leader, you will create fear and avoidance in others. We also have a mammal self, the limbic system. It's the place where teamwork and higher emotions live, like trust, like vulnerability, the higher emotion. A well-functioning Toastmasters club is operating primarily from here, but the mammal self can only be active when the lizard part of the brain is quiet, when it is slumbering, then it is always asleep with half an eye open looking for danger. We've all been triggered, finding ourselves suddenly angry, or suddenly afraid, or suddenly insulted, or suddenly very on guard, or alert, or upset. That is your lizard self trying to keep you safe. And the way to get this mammal part of your brain to be in control is, number one, to learn to trust the other members of your club, and number two, to learn some techniques to calm your lizard self. Like deep breathing, like standing up straight and having your hands upward and your wrists, the tender part of the wrist facing toward the other person. Now, I would love for your club to be at the high end of the relationship range. And we know how to measure this, right? We have the Distinguished Club Program. You've got your own goals for your club on what makes your club successful. And a lot of you wrote down goals for yourself that involve that. Having a high-performing club, right? Results, people competing manuals, getting a distinguished club award. Then there's also the relationship axis. These are completely independent axes. You can have a high results club with bad relationships or good. You can have a low results relationship, a low results club with bad or good relationships. And if you have both low results and lousy relationships, you have a club in crisis. You can quit the club or you can call for a coach. But if you can pull your club out of crisis, the bonding experience you will have will be second to none. You can have a high-performing club with poor relationships. I consider these to be robotic clubs, where all the manuals get done and everyone follows the rules, and people carry the rule books with them. Some of you have Toastmasters in your clubs who are very concerned about following the rules and the forms, and that's not the way we did it last week. God bless them. And these people are vital, because without them there might not be performance. But that's not sufficient. You can also have a club that stresses relationships but does not bother with results. These are social clubs where no one ever does manual projects, and the evaluations suck. And most importantly, people are not getting their own growth needs met, because you cannot grow as a human being in a social club. And the kind of person you're going to attract and retain is the kind of person who doesn't want to grow. In which case, stop paying dues and keep meeting and just be social. Seriously, because you're going to burn up a lot of coach hours that come to try to save you from yourselves. You don't even want to, you guys don't want to perform, you want to hang out. Great, go forth and sin no more. And sometimes clubs swing back and forth between these two extremes. First, they focus on results. We've got to be distinguished this year. Maybe you elect a president who's a real whip-cracking rule monger. Come on, people. You don't like that, so the next president is the sweetest person in the club. And so, they bring you cookies and they ask you about your kids. It's so sweet. And what's missing is the blend of the two. And this is the challenge I want all of you to undertake. I'm going to show you how to do it. Team performance is results plus relationships. There's two key leadership skills. Believe me, I've got weeks of material. I'm not going to cover it all. However, if you are a Toastmaster, you will be able to access the free webinars that I'm going to be doing on behalf of the district to teach specific leadership skills from these two lists, relating and requiring, one-on-one feedback, coaching, and delegation. Skills you can take into your workplace, take into your home life, take into your other clubs, take into other greater form of your life. I want you to learn these because I want you to succeed. Now here's the next thing I want the bar to do for us, and that is to write down the answer to this question after you call your answers out. But first you're going to write down the initials of the person who was the best boss you ever had. You can write their name or their initials, either way. Just write down just something to remind you of who that person was, the best boss you ever had in your life. That if they were hiring again, I will learn to muck out stables if I can come work for you again. I'm not sure what septic evacuation means, but I will do it. If I can come work for you again. That's the boss I want. And I want you to write down for me the impact they had on you, or what it was about them. What was it that they brought? What do you remember from that relationship? What were they all about? What's one word that summarizes some of what was so special about that boss? Positive. The word positive. Encouraging. Flexible. And I've also heard the word approachable. Now, Linda did say she was a fast writer, but no one's that fast, so let's give her a moment. I'm sorry, someone else said?
Had my back.
Had my back. Ooh, is that similar to kept me safe? The Simon Sinek video? Yeah?
They value.
Valued me. Invested in me. Participated. Now, a question, are these things that a Toastmasters officer can do for a fellow officer or a member. To be positive, encouraging, flexible, to have my back, to participate. Now, was any of you thinking, kind of pushed me? Yeah, pushed me, motivated me. Yeah, stretched me. Did they coach me? Demanded a lot from me? Maybe. Now, this question's been asked to tens of thousands of people, and the answers always come up something like this. Susan Steinbrecher has conducted this research. It's things like mentored me, coached me, believed in me, empowered me, trusted me, valued me, cared about me as a person. And you sum it all up, it comes into 2 buckets: kept me safe and made me grow. And if you can do that with volunteers, my God, you can do it with me. And I want to help you be good at this. Because when you can do this in Toastmasters, you can do it everywhere else you go, and our world is going to be a better place for you and your contributions. Okay, Tom, you're asking yourself, how am I going to do that in 15 minutes? Here are the behaviors that involve building relationship. And they are the Alice skills. That's Alice over there on the side. Asking, listening, including, coaching, encouraging is the acronym. Again, all this is available to you electronically, so you have to write it all down. We will get it to you. I've got a clipboard, give me your email address. It will all go out through Michelle. When you can, ask your fellow club members and officers for their help. Listen to them, ask them questions about themselves. Include them in decisions and coach them and encourage them. You will start to have the kind of traction that you need to push them to do things like mark your attendance and easy speak. And that is why on this same sheet, right below your goal, right below what motivates me, because if you don't know what motivates you, and you're not willing to share with others what motivates you, how are you leading by example to tell other people that you need to tell me what motivates you? There's a little grid, and you can obviously expand this. People on my team are in these roles and have these goals. One of my club officers is in the room, and I spoke with him the other day about the importance of coming here today. And I did it roughly as follows. I said, Zach, what do you hope to get out of Toastmasters? And he told me. And I said, I'm pretty sure we can get that for you. You're going to need a really strong club that support you to do that. The way to have a really strong club to support you with getting your goal met is for you to come to this thing on Saturday. And he's here. So it worked. And I can't say that if I don't know what his goals are. I don't ask and listen. Now, here are the behaviors of trust building: reliability, openness, confidence, and compassion. You need to demonstrate these behaviors, and then you need to ask others to do this for you. Reliability is I do what I say I'll do. First thing that we demonstrate in our clubs. If you're not showing up 10 minutes before start time for every meeting, you're telling people showing up the last second is okay. If you show up unprepared and you wing it every single time, that's the standard you as a leader accept. Openness is your motivation and your emotions. And sharing them openly and honestly. That means, by the way, if you're upset, you have to, in a calm way, when you're not actively angry, say, you know, yesterday I was kind of upset with you. And I've got our relationship, and I want to talk to you about it. Is this a good time? Competence, I'm good at my role, and I admit the things I'm not good at. I talked to one of your fellow club leaders the other day about somebody who signed up to be the VP of PR. And it was a aspirational volunteer activity. This was a Toastmaster who had some physical limitations, could not use the internet very well, and was trying to learn to use social media. And that signed up for VPPR in order to stress themselves, and then they never did anything. Now, that's a lost opportunity for coaching and growth, and you need to confront that non-performance and say, hey, I need you to step down, or I need to get you some help. If you let that go on, now you're complicit in the non-performance, and now it falls on you. People's trust in you goes down. Compassion is putting the other person's agenda ahead of yours occasionally. If you put the other person's agenda ahead of your own all the time, you're a victim or an enabler. And if it's never, you're a user. I promise you, if it was a Tom show starring Tom every day of the week and twice on Sundays, I would probably not be invited to come and give these talks to you. I absolutely put the needs of the district ahead of mine long enough to get up early and come down here. Well, actually, this is kind of fun. It's a bad example. But if I were going out of my way, I would totally remind you of it. To see you. Because if I don't, you don't know how compassionate I'd be. And it's okay to do that a little bit. Not enough whiny voice though. You gotta be upbeat about it. You know, hey, I swam the river and I climbed the mountain to be here with you because you're worth it, because I value our relationship. Now, here are some interior behaviors you can engage in. Mental behaviors that prepare you to have hard conversations. Things like assume positive intention. Do nothing else, assume positive intention in the other club officers and the club members. And you'll have huge, huge differences in some of your conversations. When I teach this material in corporate environment to teams, this always comes back as the number one most impactful thing on average. Wow, I started assuming positive intentions more deliberately, more frequently, even to people I didn't think deserved it, and you know, it really changed our relationship with them. Do it. Reflect on, when did I do the thing they're doing? Yeah, well, okay, but I did that once, but I had a good reason. Oh, maybe he does too. And now my mental condemnation gets softened, and so forth. If you're triggered and upset, that is to say, if your lizard is coming out, delay responding, take a walk, take a break, give yourself some time to relax, and be willing to see lots of win-win paths forward. And then here are the exterior behaviors visible to others. Now that you've done the mental work, you can engage in these. Reach out to them. Always, always, always be the first to reach out to repair a relationship. Don't keep score. Don't say, I reached out last time. It's his turn. It never works for me. It will not work for you. Have the reputation as the person who's always reaching out. What a great reputation to have. Oh, I'm sorry. And take their perspective. As soon as you do the reach out, hey, Fred, I really feel badly about how we yelled at each other yesterday, and I'm pretty sure I called you a pie-faced loon. And I think you said some things to me, but I'm not going to repeat. And I bet from your perspective, I'm reaching out, I bet from your perspective, well, you probably felt pretty disrespected by me in that moment. Actually, Tom, I felt really insulted. Oh, okay. I mean, if you get it wrong, I'll tell you. You can just guess. We were happy to correct you. You have no problem telling me. Just guess what the perspective might be, and I'll take it. Brainstorm some answers on how to not have that happen, and share your own emotions in a responsible way. It's a huge, huge impact. And I learned this very recently. It's the egg toss model of communication. The egg toss. Try to imagine you and somebody else might toss an egg back and forth between you, and you both want it to work. Then you're going to cooperate. I'm going to launch it gently, and you're going to catch it gently and attentively. And anytime you're going to communicate anything of substance or risk, say, okay, are you ready for an egg toss? I value you, I value our relationship, I need to talk about something, maybe it's giving me a little anxiety, and I want to talk about it. Are you ready? They might say no. Okay, when can we talk? Or they might say yes, then do it. So when you want to motivate other people, this is your formula. They're motivated by their agenda. That means you need to listen and discover what they care about, and you need to share what you care about. Because if you're not sharing what you care about, why should they go out on a limb and risk embarrassing themselves by sharing? And it goes around and around. You want this, you'll need a strong club to help you get it. Here's how you can help strengthen the club so you get what you want. And I mean, really listen. I have a whole webinar, if you're interested, I can leave, on how to listen. There's a book that I teach from called Just Listen by Dr. Mark Goulston. We're interviewing him on my podcast next Tuesday at 7 a.m. Amazing guy, amazing book. Life-changing stuff. Understand what they want in detail. They say, well, I want the club to succeed. Okay, why? Well, it'll make you feel good. Really, tell me more. What about the club's success that you're rewarding for you? And don't just quiz them like an inquisitor. Like, I feel the same way. Here's why I care. Tell me why you care. This is mean to you. And then notice how you swivel, because you're going to help you're going to ask them to now change their perspective. Notice the swivel. I work hard on this. As a leader, direct their attention in this new way and say, now, you're going to need a strong club to help you get this. Which is true, because a weak club can't help anybody. Shift again. Here's how you can help me strengthen our club so you can get what you want. The three biggest mistakes most of us make in life, certainly the three biggest I've made, are number one, not being ambitious enough. Number two, not asking for enough help. And number three, being too patient when things are not working. You just had the district governor stand up here and say, ask me for what you want so I can help you get it. I routinely tell rooms of this size, there are what, 120, 130 people here. My contact information is on the bottom of the page that you have in your hand. My phone number is there, my website is there. You have 30 minutes of my time available to you anytime in the next 6 months for anything you would like to talk about. It will be on my schedule, but it's your time. And you know how many you're going to take advantage of it? What percentage can go on against?
1.
Somewhere between 1% and 5%. So why do you not seek the help that's freely available? Well, it could be because, Tom, frankly, I think you suck. If I were going to get help from anybody, you'd be the last one. Totally fair. Totally fair. Good reason not to call me. Or it could be, I don't know what to ask for, or I'm not ready, or I'm embarrassed at where I am. The best calls I get are the ones where they say, look, I kind of know what I want, but not really. Can we spend 30 minutes helping me get clear? And I love this. I may never talk to them again about anything in particular, just smile at each other at these events, whatever it is. But if I can help that one person, I can help you in that 30 minutes I want to. For heaven's sake, ask. If you ask and you don't receive, okay, ask again. If you never, ever ask for the help you need, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Don't let that be the path you try. I want to end my race with the dirtiest uniform on the field. I want every ounce of my potential tested and actualized before I die. I want to help as many people as I can experience the challenges and the joys and the terrors and the sorrows and the triumphs and the tragedies of leadership. I want to help you. Please help me help you by asking for what you need. Raising your goals for your club. Turning the sheet over. Filling out this self-evaluation and asking your fellow club members, especially your fellow officers, how they stack up so that you can learn to communicate with them effectively. Use the tools available to you. Use me. Use these officers. Make use of each other. and demand from your Toastmasters experience everything you want, just as I do.